Jun Kazama versus martial law. Oh yeah, they had like a hands-on thing with Tekken 8. Main Man Sui. This is from 11 hours ago. Tekken 8 preview. You can rewatch this.
Growing up as a child of 90s and early 2000s arcades, I've been a casual enjoyer of the Tekken series pretty much all throughout its lifespan, with its cabinets being a regular spot where I would dump a few quarters, mash some buttons, and walk away with a smile on my face. I've put some time into just about all of them, but never really attempted to learn the deeper complexities of its mechanics, or really sat down to try and become good with a character. That's going to change with Tekken 8 because after spending about 4 hours with it, I'm all in.
I assume this is next year.
While I am a self-admitted casual fan of the Tekken series, I have at least dabbled enough into Tekken 7 to be able to talk about the most defining differences between 8 and Tekken 8. Chief among those changes is the new heat system, which is all about enforcing one of Tekken 8's biggest design goals, rewarding aggression. With the press of a button, a character can use a heat burst to enter heat mode. The effects of it differ from character to character, but in general you can view it as a limited time state where you're basically better at everything. Certain moves have new properties, others recover faster, making them more advantageous on block, and you gain access to new moves that aren't available outside of heat.
Yo, it looks so good.
One of the key elements of heat mode is that while it is time limited, with a meter that slowly depletes once activated, you can actually stop that meter from going down by landing attacks. This is just one of the ways that Tekken 8 looks to encourage its players to be more aggressive. Because if you're able to push the pace and land hits while in heat mode, you can keep that state going throughout most, if not all of the round. And if you decide that you instead want to cash out on damage rather than remain in heat mode, you can use a Heat Smash, which is like a mini Rage Art super move that does a large amount of damage but spends the rest of your heat.
It's crazy that you can stay in heat for most of the match.
The heat system goes deeper than that too. In addition to there being a heat meter, there are also these little icons that govern your usage of certain actions while in heat mode. This is called heat energy, and if you enter heat mode with a heat burst, you'll only get one stock.
Why is it a
However,
Lucky Chloe
if you
nerf?
use what's known as a heat engager, you'll enter heat mode with 2 stocks. These are special moves that, when landed, will instantly put your character into the heat state. Every character has 5 of them, and they're usually a handful of the most defining moves of each character. After you land a heat engager, you can spend 1 stock of heat energy to use a heat dash, which lets you quickly dash in to either connect combos that otherwise could not be connected, or if the heat engager is blocked, you can just get right back up in their face to continue your offense. So let's pause and slow things down as we look at this example between Paul and Jack 8. Paul lands his Phoenix Smasher, which is one of his 5 heat engager special moves. Landing a heat engager gives him a free dash that he can use to get in close, but I actually don't think that this is a true combo. Nonetheless, he lands that cool launcher into throw combo from the trailer. Then he lands another Phoenix Smasher, and when you land a heat engager during heat mode, you're able to use a heat dash to continue the combo. So he spends a stock of heat energy on a heat dash, picks him up off the ground, and finishes with a heat smash. Note that Paul now no longer has any heat meter to work with for the rest of the round.
So like if just because aggression is rewarded, that doesn't mean that it's actually like worse for people to bait aggression. Like you still in fighting games want to bait aggression, but since aggression is going to be stronger, it's going to be easier to bait the aggression, because like normally it's if you can't get somebody to be aggressive, it's because maybe they don't know how to be aggressive or they don't know what to do to be aggressive. But if there's something specifically like made to make your aggression better, it'll be easier to bait them into doing things. So like just if there's a move in a fighting game that's really strong, like it's like a single move or something that like people just use, like for instance like Dragon Punch, right? Dragon Punch is a really strong move, and like a lot of people just throw it out all the time, where like they're waking up off the ground, they throw it out, they they try to do it within pressure. Like if people are trying to like bait you in frame traps and stuff, and you just dragon punch, it's invincible. So it breaks through pressure and it makes people respect it. But um, the stronger something is, I feel like the easier it is to bait it. So you can put somebody in a situation where they do something where normally they maybe wouldn't be punishable, or uh, you can like use it to your advantage. Like there's so many different ways to like get to that like point. So like just because aggression is good doesn't mean that it's going to be like unpunishable, or like so good that like you won't be able to do anything about it.
My favorite element of the heat system, though, is how it's used to further define the unique aspects of every character. Each character has at least one completely unique advantage while in heat mode. For example, while in heat mode, King gets armor on his Jaguar run, making him a grappler with an armored command run to
Yeah, I can't Cali roll under or dodge any attacks if they refresh faster and are able to hit me sooner. No, listen. Don't don't. First of all, we don't have the game yet, so you can't say that you can't do anything yet. Also, if Lucky Chloe is in the game, then she also has access to the heat system. So there's going to be things that are better for your character, just like there's things that are going to be better for other people's characters. So it's like you just have to learn a different way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a nerf to your character. You just have to learn how to play differently than you normally would. There's gonna be some stuff that you can do that's the same, and there's gonna be some stuff that you can do that's not the same. And you also got to remember everybody doesn't know everything that you're gonna be playing against. Like all the people, everybody doesn't know every punishable move and every way to punish perfectly and all that kind of stuff. Everybody doesn't know that. This is the thing that I've learned from playing like Street Fighter 5, where I would play too safe, and like it was detrimental to me like getting better and baiting people out to do things, because I tried to play so safe and so proper that I was like, oh, well, I know this thing is punishable, so I can't do it, or I know this thing is I'm not allowed to do this thing because then they could punish that. So I was giving my opponents the benefit of them knowing my character without them actually having to know my character. So I was just letting them do stuff that maybe I shouldn't have let them do, or I wouldn't do stuff that I should have been doing because I thought that they might punish it. So I started doing stuff that was unsafe and not real to see if they knew how to stop it, and if they didn't know how to stop it, they would lose to it. And then you just have to be aware that the things that you do that are not necessarily good, you have to know what their weaknesses are and know that they're not good. So that way, when you start to use these things, if somebody does turn up and they know um, how to punish the things that you're doing, then you switch to doing something else that will beat the thing that they're using to beat you. So it's like you go back and forth. They use something to try to beat what you're doing, and then you in turn do something to beat what they're doing to beat you. So it's like you're baiting them into situations so to make them more advantageous for yourself. Do you know how to fix invalid file format on YouTube? It tells me MP4 is a valid file format, but my is in it tells you that it's invalid, but it is an MP4. What do you put that into I'll answer that in what's the name later, because I'll have to look at it, because sometimes um your it could be like the wrong type of container or something like that. I know it pretty much allows you to upload anything, even like MKV files and all types of other like strange video files that you know normal people don't even use. But I'm not sure why it wouldn't let you upload an MP4. I'll have to like check that out. Oh, you were trying to upload a photo. No, I can actually start my TikTok back up because I'm not playing what's the name? Yeah, I can do that. I never even stopped the previous one. But let me turn it back on. Uh I'm gonna hit other games because I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna play. I may play Valorant, or I may play something. I may play Rainbow Six. I don't know yet. I want to watch some stuff. I'm actually gonna turn these back on. All right.
Get in on opponents. Kazuya, meanwhile, can execute his iconic electric wind god fist technique without having to be frame perfect on the input. What I also love about the heat system is that it's available right at the start of every round. It's not a comeback mechanic, and you don't need to build up a meter in order to gain access to it. You're free to use it whenever and however you please. The already existing comeback mechanic from Tekken 7, Rage, does make a return, with it once again causing a character to go into a rage state once they reach a critical level of health. While in the rage state, your damage increases and you gain access to your ultra powerful rage art technique. That said, rage drives are a thing of the past, largely because it's a mechanic that felt redundant due to the addition of the heat state and the advantages it provides. Another brand new element of Tekken 8
rage drive
is
is
the addition
almost
of a
like
special
what
control type, which
like
is Tekken 8's new attempt at making its complex fighting system a little more approachable for newcomers. When in special control mode, each button has a recommended move and combo for each character. There's a button for juggle combos, a button for grounded combos, and a button for quick low attacks. The selected moves even change depending on what state you're in. While this allows new players to compete with more intermediate players in terms of the damage they're able to output, the key thing to keep in mind is that players using the special control scheme only have access to a very small selection of moves. The most interesting part, though, about the special control scheme, and the thing that really sets it apart from Street Fighter 6's new modern control scheme, is the fact that you can switch between the classic and special control styles mid-match with the press of a button. This makes it actually a fairly viable option for more experienced players as well, as you could be...
Okay, so I don't think they should do that. While I am an advocate for easy inputs and all the types of easy, combo execution stuff for newer players, I don't think they should do that. Or in tournament, it should be banned, right? Normally I wouldn't care, but like if you allow them to switch back and forth between the two control modes during the match at the press of a button, like without going into the pause screen or whatever, and like this comes up on the screen to show that, oh, you're in simple mode or whatever, this is going to turn into a thing that becomes meta, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to be switching in and out of simple mode because it's just more it'd probably be more advantageous for something. Like they would just figure out a way to make it good. Like there's gonna be some player that is like, okay, like I use classic controls, and then when I get ready to do this very specific thing, I switch into simple mode to complete the thing or whatever, right? And I think that might just be annoying to do and to learn, and for it to become like a meta thing, especially to like to see it in tournament and stuff. So it's like I think they shouldn't do that. Not because it would be broken, but I think it would just be annoying to watch. Like it would be annoying to see the thing come up on the screen over and over again, and to feel like you have to learn how to switch in and out of simple mode and classic mode. I don't think they should do that. But it's there, and I guess we'll see what happens when, because I don't think they need to do that. They've already had like simple input mode stuff like that in Tekken 7, but you have to turn it on, and then you turn it on and it's on, and then when you want to turn it off, you got to go into the options and turn it off. And and I think it's like in story mode or something like that too. But you can't really change it mid match. Yeah, I think they should just not allow it in tournament. I mean, for online, like you're probably gonna run into people online that are doing it, but I mean, I don't like I said, I don't think it's broken. I think it's just kind of stupid, like to be able to switch back and forth between simple and easy in match. Whereas like in a game, instead of it just being that way, like in Dragon Ball Fighters, they have like simple input controls where um you not necessarily simple input controls, but simple like auto combos. They have auto combos, but the auto combos are baked into the how the game works. And like people don't really use the auto combos because they use the first portion of like the beginning part of the auto combo in Dragon Ball Fighters. Because some of the normals in the auto combo don't exist anywhere outside of the auto combo. So like with Bardock or whatever, they use like the first 3 hits because like if it snags somebody in the air, it ground bounces them on the 3rd hit or 2nd or 3rd hit or something like that, and it starts a combo. So like it's good to use the first 3 hits of the auto combo, but they don't really continue past that. And then they go into the manual version of the combo. But like I think switching in and out of it at the press of a button is kind of weird instead of just baking it into the game if they were going to do that, or baking it into a control scheme where it's like a simple control scheme where it has this but also allows you to like hybrid between the two things without having to switch back and forth. I don't know, it just sounds weird to me. I feel like they should have did it a different way. Hopefully Falco, Fox, or Sheik are a DLC character. If you're down, we could play Siege. Yeah, we could probably play Siege.
Playing the match out in the classic control scheme, suddenly have an opportunity for a big punish, quickly swap to the special control style, and start mashing out a combo without fear of it dropping. It also seems like a great learning tool to be able to quickly jump in with a new character and get a feel for what their moves and combos are going to look like without having to memorize a whole bunch of techniques just to be competitive. Those are all pretty substantial changes, so it's comforting to know that everything else still feels like some good-ass Tekken. In my playtime, I mostly experimented with King, who's just as much of a powerhouse as he's always been. One of my favorite changes to him is that his reverse arm slam combo has been simplified, allowing him to go into the next throw in the chain with a single button press as opposed to a series of inputs that need to be memorized. Now, he still does have the ladder, and those are probably more damaging and harder to break, but as someone who's always loved King, but was always intimidated by all of the commands needed to do a full chain grab combo, I appreciate having at least one that I could easily commit to memory and rely on pretty much from the get-go of learning the character. I want to give a shout out to Tekken 8's command list too, which does a great job of giving extra context to the recommended moves for every character. It told me recommended combos, moves to use that are advantageous on block, what moves will launch an opponent, what to do after launching them, what to do after activating heat mode, and much more. These move lists are extremely intimidating, with each of them containing hundreds of techniques, and Bandai Namco is really putting in the effort by making them much more user-friendly. After my playtime was over, I left with a renewed enthusiasm.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Serious level.
Thank you,
Tekken 8 looks phenomenal. Its hits feel as impactful as ever, and its iconic cast of characters are even more uniquely defined thanks to the new heat system. There's still a lot we have yet to see, but as far as first impressions go, Tekken 8 is a knockout. For more Tekken 8, make sure to check out my interview with Michael Murray and Katsuhiro Harada.
I like how they do that.
And for everything else, keep it here on
They like interact at the start of the match. I wonder how other people interact with each other at the start of the match. Is it everybody or is it just certain characters? Dude, I've been through a lot of characters in Tekken, and they still all like look good and like fun to play.